doing this. Yes. Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be doing this YouTube video today all about being a creative corporate baddie. I'm with my fellow creative corporate baddies. I'm gonna give everyone a second to introduce themselves, but I really wanted to have just a candid conversation about what it's like working in corporate, but then also developing your personal brand, creating content, and just how that has changed our lives, especially as Black women. So I'm really excited for this conversation. So I want to pass around the mic around to everyone to introduce themselves. I go first. I'm Jade. You guys know me, the ninth semester. Been content creating for over the last 4 years of the ninth semester, but I've been a creator since I was 13. If you were a Wattpad reader, I was on Wattpad. That was my jam. And over time, I've developed my personal brand through talking about career, post-grad life, helping Gen Z get hired, but then also how I'm navigating that in my career. And through that, I've had amazing opportunities, but then I've also been able to meet amazing creator friends like the ones I'm here with today. So I'm really excited to have this conversation with you all. So I'm gonna pass it to you.
Cool. Hi everyone, ninth semester fans, friends, and followers. My name is Jeannie Thompson. I'm currently at HubSpot as an associate marketer. I work for the HubSpot blog and HubSpot media team, and I'm here at CultureCon on behalf of Masters in Marketing. It's a marketing newsletter by marketers for marketers. So if you're a marketing girly, please subscribe and follow us at Masters in Marketing on Instagram. And I'll pass it over to Taylor.
That was a good ad. I'm like, how do I follow that? Okay, let me give an ad on myself for a second. Hello everyone, my name is Taylor Falls. I am currently a program manager at Adobe. That's in my 9 to 5, but after that, in my 5 to probably midnight, I also run what I call Tips with Taylor, which is where I make content on LinkedIn and occasionally on TikTok. Sometimes I gotta get better, where I create early career content that's focused on personal development, storytelling, authenticity, all of the things trying to help underrepresented talent get resources. So absolutely love what I'm doing. Been doing this for about a year and a half, 2 years now-ish. And it's just opened so many amazing doors for me, and I also get to come to events like this and hang out with my fellow creator baddies. So I'm gonna pass it to a fellow baddie, Amaya.
Yes, last but not least, baddie at least. Hi everyone, my name is Amaya Roberson, and I am also a LinkedIn creator like them, but in my 9 to 5, I am a People Operations Project Associate at Dolby. So if you know Dolby Cinema, you know what I'm talking about. That's the one, exactly. So yeah, besides that, I'm a creator just like them, and then I'm also a podcast host, or otherwise known as a D1 Yapper, but it's called the Intentional Intern Podcast, where I have different students come on and share their stories to make conscious connections and conversations for their future careers.
And then also too, we're at CultureCon. I definitely forgot to even mention that, but ironically, I didn't know any of them were gonna be here until we got here. So it was really cool because it's our first time meeting each other in person, and now we're having this conversation for you all, and I'm excited. So we actually have a live audience member that we met at CultureCon too. I'm gonna pass the mic to her. She's actually gonna be asking us the questions that I created, but I wanted to introduce you all to her.
My name is Melishay, and I am a recent college graduate from Columbia College Chicago. I majored in graphic design with a minor in design management. I'm excited to be here at CultureCon with these amazing ladies that I actually follow, or a couple of them I follow on LinkedIn. And I was just like, oh my God, this is so surreal. Just seeing influencers in general, like just walking past me casually, I'm just like, wow, I feel like this is a space where I need to be.
You're gonna hear this one term throughout the video. It's called CCB, meaning Corporate Creator Baddie. Shout out to Taylor, because she said it yesterday when we were talking, and I'm like, wait, this is C. Yes, I was like, wait, she coined it. So we are CCBs. So if you want to be a fellow CCB and just curious about what it means to be a CCB, we're gonna be talking about that. So hopping into today's first question, definitely would love to hear from everyone. What inspired you to start creating? And I'd love to start with Jeannie, because she's, out of the three of us, kind of like the newest one with this corporate creator journey.
Thank you so much. I think what inspired me to start creating was honestly just a desire to see myself represented and reflected in the creator space, and also on LinkedIn specifically. I'm still new to Instagram. I'm getting my content out there. But I think like LinkedIn was the first place and space that I really saw an opportunity to grow my personal brand. And I honestly would not have even thought about doing it without the 3 women sitting at this table. So I have to give them their flowers on camera. Like the way that Jade shows up, the way that Taylor shows up, and the way that Amaya shows up, like seriously inspired me to start my journey. But I'm Gen Z. I recently graduated a year ago from Emerson College in Boston. Thank you. I have a degree in media studies, and I was going on LinkedIn just sharing, the basic stuff that you share on LinkedIn. I wasn't really sharing any wins or things that I felt were worthwhile to share on LinkedIn, because I thought that it was only a platform solely for sharing information about jobs, talking about career moves. And like, yes, it is absolutely that sort of platform, but it's also a social networking platform. And so I was like, what if I just start talking about my experience as a Black woman, as a young Black woman who has recently graduated. I have a full-time job. As you know, the job market at this moment is crazy terrible. And so I'm just extremely thrilled and grateful to have a full-time job. And so just really talking about how I was able to secure that opportunity, what I did while I was in college to secure that opportunity post-grad, and just kind of sharing like the steps and things that I did to put myself in the place that I'm in now. So that's what inspired me to start creating content. And I'll pass it to Jade.
I really resonate with what Jeannie said about wanting to see yourself in terms of being a creator. Like, I've always kind of dreamt of being an influencer and like doing it full time, which I'm doing now. But I didn't see many creators that looked like me, like first gen, dark skin, plus size, having all these different aspirations. So with LinkedIn, I saw other people, especially some of my peers who were posting on it, and I was like, let me just go up there. Because with the 9th semester, I started it on TikTok, but I realized a lot of my audience is on LinkedIn. Like, there's this misconception that Gen Z isn't on LinkedIn, and that's not true. And what I love about posting the most on LinkedIn is everyone is really nice. Like, I know everyone has their different sides of LinkedIn. There's like the tech bro and the weird side, but I've curated.
Like his Facebook.
Exactly. Literally, some of the stuff I see on there is crazy. But the community that I built on there, like the people that I've met, genuinely nice, real people, genuinely care about people and genuinely care about their career. Like, as much as I'm posting and learning from others, it's like this constant cycle of just like showing up for each other, being that representation that we were looking for. And LinkedIn is like one of those places where I'm like, okay, I can talk about all the nerdy stuff that gets me excited about my career, and I don't have to feel like, oh, someone's like, oh, I'm tired of hearing this. Literally, that's all everyone talks about. That's what we're looking for on LinkedIn. So I feel seen. I'm grateful. Like, even the fact that I'm up here, like, I was really excited to do this video with these girls, and the fact that we're doing it is because we met on LinkedIn, because we decided to continuously show up and post on LinkedIn.
And support each other.
And support each other, too. Like, this is how you're gonna grow in your CCB era too, because it's like, it's more than just posting. Like, you're making community, you're meeting people that are going to uplift you as much as you uplift them. So I'm passing it to Amaya.
She just said a whole word and passed it to me like I got some.
It's hard to follow. You got it.
Oh, you got lucky. Okay. Well, to echo some of the sentiments that they already said around representation, it's super important of just wanting to see yourself in someone else. And I think for me, when I don't see opportunities for me, I make them myself. So I literally, like, the gaps, I don't care about that. We're about to make a bridge to go over the gap. And then I ended up seeing that as a constant space, especially for Gen Z, because I started college in COVID. So team no prom, team no graduation, team no induction into college. Bow, bow, bow. Literally everything. Triple whammy. Okay. So basically, there were no companies on campus, no orgs on campus. So it was like, how am I supposed to get a job, twin? Like, we didn't know. So I think for me, I just started making content from there, like a summer into college. And then from there, I saw people responding to it pretty well. And same thing with the podcast, where I started that out as an RA. Then I wanted it for my residents at first, so not even for myself. And that ended up taking off of people saying like, oh, this is really cool. Why haven't people done this before? You know how many people say that? Oh, why haven't we had this before in so many different industries and professions? So I think for me, just kicking down doors over and over so I can have those opportunities afforded for others is really why I started creating content anyway. And it's great because why am I supposed to care what someone else says that's not about my content in a good way? Of like, if it's not helping them, guess what? It's helping so many other people. So that's also always a great feeling as well, to just know that you're making an impact and a change. And once you get haters, that's how you know you made it.
Control it. Control it.
Okay. I think my why is a combination of all of the things that we've heard here already. But to give y'all a brief synopsis, I am from Alabama. And if anyone listening doesn't know the history of Alabama, Alabama is the home of civil rights. So when it comes to why I do what I do, both in my 9 to 5 and also in the content that I create, is always about creating equity, 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 because I've seen firsthand what happens when people don't have resources, when people don't know where to find opportunities. And for me specifically, I'm like, okay, if I have, grown up in a household where I come from a mother that went to college, that got her graduate degree, and even I am struggling to find the opportunities, then I know somebody who is in an inner city school or who maybe doesn't have a family that has gone to college is definitely not going to know where to even start. So my whole thing is about how can I make sure that I am making whatever I do something that is relatable, something that is digestible, something that if somebody doesn't have that experience, that they feel safe coming to me. My whole thing is about creating a safe space. So when I graduated, I realized that I had been doing that in college repeatedly for my sorority sisters, for other people on campus, and I was trying to figure out how I could replicate that, but at scale. And that is what ultimately led me to starting to create content on LinkedIn, because I wanted to ensure that no one ever felt left behind and that they could come to a place where they could ask those questions that they may not want to ask other people, and that they could feel psychologically safe.
I have to go, but hopefully I'll be seeing all of these beautiful ladies soon. Subscribe to the 9th semester, everything, website, YouTube, everything.
We give anything else?
You guys are just well articulated. Not to say that Gen Z is not.
Okay, as
but-
long as we don't give millennial. Shit.
Dang, I really-
Oh my God. I thought you were Gen Z. I'm sorry.
I get it all the time.
Oh my God.
No. I thought you were legit. You're not black, don't crack. You can't tell.
She said no disrespect.
I was in school with all the Gen Z, so I really just love it. Like,
So do you hate our lingo?
no, I mean, you see me over here doing this, clocking.
I love this.
I love it.
I use this one. Apparently it's not the finger that
I thought it was this. What is it?
I think it's the middle finger.
Yeah, because I was doing this finger.
Yeah. But I like this one. It's just right here. I gotta go all the way over here to get this one. Which one is it, y'all? I need them to not, because again, I just be doing this. Like,
I don't know. This is feel more natural.
this feels more natural. Doing this. Yes.
Okay, clock that.
Clock it. Clock it.
It's what's not clocking.
Is it not clocking? Is it not clocking on business?
How has your life changed since you started posting?
So my life has changed in ways that I did not imagine. When I first started doing this, the only idea was to share resources. Never did I think that sharing resources like this could lead to so much opportunity. So recently I've been able to do paid speaking engagements. I recently did an engagement with Johns Hopkins, and I was like, what? I was like, y'all gonna pay me to come talk about early? Okay, here. Doing just paid engagements, partnering with brands, being able to go to different events, like being invited specifically to invite-only events just because people want to talk to me or hear my perspective. I knew I had a voice, but I didn't realize how much weight my voice would carry. As we've all been saying, like if you are someone out there who is trying to start doing content, just start. Today is your time. Do what you need to do. Even if you are scared, do it scared. Even if you don't know what to do, just try, do it anyway. If you are someone who is wanting to partner with brands, but you're afraid to like go out there and pitch yourself. The worst thing someone could tell you is no, and no is not a definite no. No is just from that person right now. Someone else may tell you yes. So that's been my whole thing. It's just opened so many doors, and I absolutely love being able to do what I do. I will pass it to you, Amaya.
That's a tough act to follow, but I'll do my best. I think for me, especially, posting has definitely changed a couple of things, and it definitely starts with, like to Taylor's point, paid speaking engagements for sure. That's been really fun. More people finding my content. Same thing with the podcast, being able to do brand deals and really getting to be associated with, oh wow, you're a creator on LinkedIn that has a lot of impact. And I think you don't really recognize that until people start like flooding you in DMs or coming to talk to you and being like, I saw your content on TikTok, or you know, and it's crazy to see just like how helpful it can be for people. And when they say, and I'm sure you guys can relate to this, of like, oh, that job that you posted, I got to apply to it. I would have never known if it wasn't for you. So I think it's definitely helped me in those ways, and definitely intangibly in other parts of my life as well, for like the confidence piece. Also thinking about, I know there's probably some people out there who probably struggle with imposter syndrome. I ain't no stranger. I ain't no stranger to her. Definitely help with that as well. And just thinking about that, no matter if you think you aren't moving, any small movement is still movement. Like, that's still motion. So you have to remember that as well. And so now when it comes to posting, I definitely think I'm way more authentic, honestly, than when I first started, where it comes just more natural to me now of being able to do it, not just because I care about it, but I know other people care about it too.
You go, sister.
I really relate to everything that they both said. I have very similar sentiments, especially the confidence piece too. Like, I think when you graduate and you're still trying to figure out who you are, what you want to do in your life, I've always known that I wanted to just create content and just create in general. And I found that niche where I'm like, I can still incorporate myself in the things that I like, but then also talk about my nerdy interests. And that's really helped me just show up, whether it's in interviews or in networking spaces. Like, I was networking at the career fair today. I'm yapping it up. Like, me and the recruiters are besties. And it's because I'm like, I've gotten so comfortable with talking. And I think that's, public speaking is honestly one of the best things you can invest for yourself earlier in your career. And I've seen that impact in my life because I'm a yapper. I love to yap. So like getting invited to do speaking engagements or just putting up the camera like we're doing now and just talking and meeting people because I just decided to yap, that has been some of the best things. But then I've also had some really cool stuff. Like earlier this year, I gave a TED Talk. That was one of the biggest moments of my career. I'm still waiting for the video. I'm gonna share the video when I get it. But that's because literally 4 years ago, I decided I'm going to post content on TikTok. I'm just going to share the things that I like and the things that I'm interested in. And it's helping students. Like Jeannie, she literally told me a few minutes ago how she got an internship because of something I posted. Said the same thing to Taylor. I've had other students tell me those things. And I'm like, this is exactly why I created the 9th semester, to put people on. Because when I was in your shoes, I had to struggle. I had to figure it out. I'm not too old. Getting out the mud. Like, I graduated 2021, so I've had to make sure of both being on campus, but then also being online, and you're struggling to figure it out. I changed my major from STEM to marketing. Like, I'm figuring it out every step of the way, and I'm helping you all too. So it's like I'm learning along with my audience, and I get to show up and talk with y'all and yip yap. Like, so it's one of the best decisions that I made post-grad, to just decide to authentically be myself, because it's bringing genuine relationships, genuine opportunities, and just the ability to just be myself. So I love it. So another thing I want to talk about too is just like being a successful Black woman and dating, especially being a creative and having a partner who supports you. I would love to hear from Amaya and Taylor about how their partners have been supported for them in their creative journeys and their professional journeys.
Well, everyone, fun facts. I actually met my boyfriend through LinkedIn. I know, right? Ain't that something crazy? Okay, question mark. Let's say that can be literally that should be the title. Y'all, the man saw when I first started creating content. Like, this is like end of 2023, like when I just started. And he wanted me to be on his panel. He was doing a panel. And he was like, I love your content about what you're doing. Can you be on this panel? And I was like, sure. And so I started talking to him. Just networking at first. But the networking turned into a relationship recently. Okay, crazy work. So love does exist. When it comes to, how he supports me, I mean, the man truly is one of the most supportive people that I know. I am not one to bet on myself. Unfortunately, as much as I like talk about other people like putting themselves out there, I struggle with that. I also have my fair share of imposter syndrome. When it came to me, pitching myself to different brands, really advocating for myself, I actually did it because he told me to. Believe it or not, I was telling him, I was like, I don't really know how to like do outreach. Like I'm nervous about doing all this stuff. And he was like, together we can come up with a template. You are gonna do the outreach. So literally because of him, I started doing outreach. I started increasing my rates. I started, putting myself out there more. And he's also helped with me being consistent. Like, he helps me come up with ideas. We just really support each other. He has a business, so I also like help support his business. I give him marketing ideas. So it's just such a a nice, mutually beneficial relationship, and I just can't thank God enough. Amen to that. I use Sierra's prayer, so y'all should go Google Sierra's prayer. I did Sierra's prayer, but the Taylor version. If y'all want my specific prayer, y'all leave a comment. I'll tell y'all.
Yeah, I can say for me, as definitely someone else who's in a Pisces Libra relationship situation, that's what we got.
Pisces, get you a Libra.
Hello.
They tell me that a Pisces boyfriend because I'm a Libra, so
Yeah, I recommend.
If you a Pisces,
I recommend.
comment down below.
Hit her. Yeah, I think for me, especially with us, it'll be 5 years next year of us being together, and going. Man, we went through the whole college experience. Ooh, I think really he does support me, and I think also with him being a creative as well, and like the film and media space, he really is he is the good cop to my bad cop. And I mean that in, I'm the bad cop, and I think it's just because we both are on completely different spectrums, but we complete each other in ways that the other person may not be as, I would say, strong in. So I think for me, being more business oriented, like when he needs someone to tell him to lock in, I'm gonna give him every single reason to lock in. I'm gonna give you financial reasons to lock in. I'm gonna give you metrics on why you need to lock in. And then for me, on the creative side, when I feel like I'm stuck in LinkedIn, or maybe I'm just not thinking big enough, he's like, why not you?
Ooh, my boyfriend said the same thing to me.
It's crazy because we both come with the same energy of like, what are you talking about right now? Like, focus, come on. And so I think also he mellows me out, and also telling me at the same time, why aren't you giving yourself grace? And so it's stuff like that in a partner where I don't have to ask for it. It's already something that's built in. So find you one that's got that built into their system, okay? I think you can get them real good from Amazon. But truthfully, in finding a partner who, no matter what, is always down to support you, and also thinks of other ways and how to support you as well, and you really don't feel like you're on your own, it truly makes a difference. And you have someone that also can be your biggest critic, but you know that they're saying it because they want you to do better. And so it's different when you have your own built-in bestie, and what it really challenges you to think about of how you can create impacts as well, but also in the life that you guys eventually want together. So we're pushing each other forward because we want to succeed together in what we can do.
Good answer, sister. It makes me so happy to hear that you guys both have very supportive partners on this journey, because it could be a lot. And the fact that you have people who are consistently pouring into you and speaking life into you, especially as a Black woman, they had a session about dating here, and it's needed. Strong, powerful Black women need someone that could be that soft landing for them. And it makes me happy to hear that you guys have that, and that's so beautiful. Oh my gosh.
I want to say something else. She got more. I want y'all to know also, on that dating panel, Serena and Cordell were on it from Love Island, and what I want y'all to know, y'all got to remember, Serena did curse that man out when he went wrong, okay? So also, relationships, they are not 100% rainbows and unicorns and all that fun stuff, but the important thing is also, you can see from Serena and Cordell's relationship on Love Island, is you see how they work it out, and they work it out in a respectful manner and validating each other's feelings type of manner, and working towards progressing towards what it's not that one person is having to give in or completely give pieces of themselves or just to make the other person feel better. No, like Taylor was saying, it's a symbiotic relationship where you guys are learning from each other, and the goal is to get to each other. The goal is to understand each other and find that common ground so you guys can move forward. It's not to fight, it's not to win an argument, it's not for someone to lose one either. So
I want to add something to that real quick. Another thing I will say really quickly is that relationships are not always going to be 50-50. Nope. There are going to be days where I only have 20% and my boyfriend may have 80%. And those days, and that's going to be fine. You have to realize that there will be moments where one of you may have an up and another one may have a down, and you have to give each other grace, and you have to give each other compassion. That was one of the points of the panel yesterday, is the idea of grace, and also people being reciprocal in relationships. So make sure that you are looking for that, especially when it comes to what you're looking for in a partner.
Clark it. For those who watch season 7, Clark it.
Clark it. That also sparks another question for me, and this is for both of you. There's a lot of similarities as I'm talking about this, but would love to hear how you were able to balance both being a corporate creative but then also pursuing your MBA? I know you just graduated, and I know you're in the testing phase, so I would love to hear how your perspective was.
So I think for me, especially doing a 9 to 5 and doing basically a 5 to 10, because that's how long the classes were, from 5:30 to 9:45. 10 if you nasty, but it's just, I think one thing when it comes to managing an MBA is you really have to understand the importance of time and money. You need to understand time as a currency, because if you aren't understanding it now, you will see it then, and you will see it in those test scores as well. And the value also of really understanding what resources you have on your campus. And what I mean is, a lot of MBA programs, the great ones, they have a lot of your homework is really going to apply to your real world experience. So the more degrees that you do, especially the higher that you go up, the more that the theory actually is closer to the practice. So from my bachelor's, that was a little bit, theory and practice was here. MBA, theory and practice was here. And then when I do my PhD, they're gonna be touching. And so what I also encourage people to think about is, when you're doing your homework and you're doing these assignments especially, you can use that for interviews. I've used so much of my work, I've used so many of my tactics that I've done for my MBA for my actual work environment, because that's what it's preparing you to do. It's preparing you to get in the business world and start talking business, whatever your business is. Business if you're classy. But, you know, I think also with that, on top of understanding time as currency and then recognizing your resources that's within the work that you're doing, is really, your MBA is a second chance to understand what you can get the most out of your experience. And so typically when you go into an MBA program, there's going to be a learning curve. There's going to be some subject you're required to take, and maybe you didn't take it in your undergrad. They're going to tell you, oh, well, we're not going to teach you that content that's in the middle of where we're starting versus what you know. Get on LinkedIn and figure it out. They're going to give you LinkedIn learning courses. They're going to give you a YouTube. They're going to tell you to figure it out. But that first day of class, you better be ready. And so it also challenges you in the work world as well. There are things that you are going to be learning from a project, from a campaign, from your manager that you may not have any experience in, but you're going to have to figure it out. And so I definitely think it prepared me more for adaptability in ways that I really wasn't thinking of, and even down to how I network, how I strategize. Those are the things I wish people told me going in, but if you do those, your experience will be much better than I would say mine was going in, of what I didn't do and what I should have done and what led me to burnout and other things in that nature. So yeah, my experience was pretty good, but I wish I did more, and those were my things.
How does your employer feel about your content creation?
So when I first started the 9th semester, I was working at TikTok, so it was pretty much encouraged for us to create content. And it wasn't until my second job, I actually got my second job, I worked at Yellow as an employer branding lead, working with their early talent team about how to recruit Gen Z for their roles. And the content that I was creating on TikTok and LinkedIn actually attracted my employer to me. So that was like my first time in my creator journey where what I was posting online was leading to an actual job opportunity. And low-key, that's kind of why I started the 9th semester, because I wanted to work in early career recruitment. I kept being told no, so when no one gave me a seat at the table, I created my own table. And that table has continued to expand and grow and become very fruitful because I decided to create those opportunities. I know Maya talked about earlier, like creating the opportunities that you want. That is something I've been doing since I've graduated. So my employers up until now have been very, very supportive of just my creator journey. And right now, I've been doing the 9th semester full-time for the past 9 months, but I'm going back into corporate. So I made a really candid Substack post about just my struggles, you know, on my job hunt, and trying to find out one employer that is really supportive. Because I've had a great track record of employers being supportive of it, but something I'm learning too, some companies don't like when you have a life outside of your 9 to 5. They don't like that you have a personal brand. So it's been harder for me to find someone where they're like, yes, you are Jade, the 9th semester, you have all this going on, but I see your value as an employee. Like, I understand that you're not going to let what you're doing on the side affect your job. So I'm in that phase of trying to find those companies that are understanding of that, because some of them are still stuck in that old mindset where it's like, you got to be here 9 to 7, not 9 to 5, not 8 to 5, 9 to 7, and then probably working on the weekends. And it's interesting, but I've met creators here who have recently made that move from entrepreneurship back into the corporate space, and their employer is super supportive of that. So
for me, my employer actually loves the fact that I create content. The other day, the head of my team came up to me. He had liked one of my LinkedIn posts from like a year ago, and I was like, why did he stalking my page? But he came to me and he said, I went through your LinkedIn page, and he said, I'm really inspired by what you're doing. How can we bring what you're doing, after work to do it inside of work? So he's actually creating a plan for me to create content for our team. And I actually did a little test run the other week. We have an annual event that we do, and I actually created I created and curated all of the content that we did for almost 3 weeks, from making videos to making text-based posts. I did all of that, and I was able to increase the engagement of our page by 25%. So okay, so they've seen what I do, they've seen my passion, they've seen how I'm just so good at building this different type of content, and they've allowed me to do that in my 9-to-5 as well.
Black woman, why is it important to develop your personal brand online?
Because it may not be seen otherwise. Point blank, period. I think, and just showing yourself in general, because we know more than anybody, especially in these spaces right now, that voices are being censored or silenced. And so it's important for you to show your superpower. It also influences other people and other Black women to show their superpower and get together and organize and support each other as well.
So as we know, Black women have to work twice as hard than anyone else to get the same opportunities. And even when you work twice as hard, you're still sometimes not granted the opportunities that you should be. And so for me, the whole thing is about building visibility. How can I create this sense of accountability and recognition for myself outside of work? Because another thing that we're seeing is that Black women are being laid off at exponential rates right now. So many people are looking for jobs and opportunities, and they're not being able to find them. And so for me, the whole thing about building a personal brand, I've seen half of my team get laid off, unfortunately. And so in that moment, I had to ask myself, what can I do to set myself apart? So that if one day my name is on the docket to be cut, that at least I can say, okay, I know who Taylor is outside of this company. People know who Taylor is outside of this company, and my name can enter these rooms that I'm not in to create these opportunities for myself. And so I really implore all the Black women listening right now is to create your personal brand, to build that up, because again, people, as Amaya said, are taking these opportunities from us. They're not even giving the opportunities to us. And so oftentimes, as Jade mentioned, you have to create your own table. It is so important.
Yes, so like Amaya and Taylor said, the biggest thing that you're going to get out of content creating, especially as a corporate creative, is building your personal brand. Important fact to know too is you are going to be in control of the narrative of your story. Especially if you're someone who you're interested in different career paths, you're doing different pivots, you are able to document your journey online, through podcasts, through blogging, and that adds to your portfolio. You are able to show, I had this experience, I had these past few years working in marketing, and then I pivoted to advertising, and then now I'm pursuing something completely different. And you have all these different touch points of where you've done that. So when you go to an employer, you're interviewing, or you're just putting yourself out there, you know I have a proven track record of making these things happen for myself. And that's been helpful for me because especially if you're trying to figure out what you want to do or where you want to be, you kind of forget the things that you want to do because you're always thinking about the next thing. And by documenting it, you can look back and be like, 2 years ago, I said I wanted to work as a full-time creator, and now I'm doing it. 2 years ago, I said I wanted to pivot into this industry, and now I've done it, and I've been able to document that. And at the same time, too, you're inspiring other people as you do it. I love when I meet other creatives, and they tell me that they were inspired to create content because of me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, just me out here yapping, sharing my story has helped other people put themselves out there, and then it just creates this whole domino effect. So it's more than you. You are creating something that is bigger than you.
What one piece of advice do you have aspiring CCBs?
Well, one, everybody's story matters. I think the thing that I told myself a lot, and I still tell myself, is sometimes like, why would I post my content? Nobody cares. Or like, why would I post my content when someone can extract value from somebody else's content? Even if my content has intersections between Jade's content or Taylor's content or Amaya's content, like everybody's story is individual and everybody's story matters. And it's not the destination, but it's the journey. And people want to hear about, how you got from point A to point B, like what were the steps that you took to get there? What were the hiccups that you encountered? And what are the things that you use to motivate yourself? And so I would tell aspiring CCBs that your story matters. And every time you get that intrusive thought or that invasive thought about not filming your content or not sharing your perspective, or in general just isolating yourself from opportunity, to not do that. Because I quite literally would not have even been here if I hadn't started creating content, and my job saw that that was something that I was capable of, and they invited me to CultureCon. So take those risks and don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Every new opportunity to meet someone is an opportunity to grow a relationship and to grow a true friendship. So put yourself out there, don't be too afraid, and post that content today, not tomorrow.
Yes.
Biggest piece of advice I would give is to bet on yourself. So often black women are told that, we're too loud and that we need to be quiet and that we need to fall in line and that we need to do all these other things in order to fit into this box that society wants to put us in. Do not listen to that mess. Always advocate for yourself. Always put your front foot forward, because it is you who is going to make the change for yourself. The day starts and ends with you. Always bet on yourself. Don't allow other people to take that away from you.
So my question for you, Jeannie, is why is it important for black women to develop their personal brand online?
I think it's important for black women to develop their personal brand online because, one, there's never too many black women, okay? So anytime that we have an opportunity to add value to a space, I think we should do it. We shouldn't hesitate. But on top of that, especially as a young black woman, I feel like I've had a lot of people try to humble me and try to tell me what I can and can't do just because I'm young and I'm ambitious. And the more I invest in my personal brand, the more I cancel that noise and kind of really debunk those projections that I feel like get put onto me. And so I think, your personal brand is just another opportunity to show people what you're really capable of, and to show people what you're about beyond your work. Like, yes, if your work is excellent, you know that because people can see that, but they need to know who you are as a person and who you are as a person and how you show up is directly connected to the work that you do. So I think for me, I've really been able to show people yes, I'm young and I'm Gen Z and I work in marketing, but also I care about things like DEI. I care about things like accessibility representation across the board. So when I make my content, I hope that that's a message that translates so people can continue to tap me for future opportunities. And that leads me to my last point. If you don't put your content out, no one will ever know what opportunities to tap you for. So make sure you put your content out there so that depending on who you meet, they might think of you and invite you into a room that you've dreamed about being in. So just know that every piece of content that you create is potentially a key to a new door.
I love that. And as a new grad, especially someone you just recently graduated and you've been content creating for a little under a year or so, especially on LinkedIn, what advice do you have for those new grads who are thinking of starting their personal brands, don't know where to start, or maybe they haven't even got that first job yet and they don't know what to talk about?
Yeah, I would say, similar to the advice that you've given me, Jade, if there are opportunities for you, create them. So, if you want to go into beauty marketing and you don't have the experience to maybe land that beauty marketing internship, create, some mock-ups on Canva. Start creating what you would hope to be a campaign underneath your own direction. So bring your vision to, faux projects, mock-ups, things that you would hope to create if you had that dream role. So I would say that's one thing. And then the second piece of advice that I have is just put yourself out there. I know that's a pretty generic piece of advice. I know some people are introverted. I'm personally an ambivert, so I can be introverted, but I can also be extroverted. For me, when I put myself in uncomfortable situations, yes, I'm uncomfortable, but I'm also thinking about the potential of what would happen if I didn't do that. And that really bothers me, not knowing what could have happened if I just gave myself the opportunity to be uncomfortable. So, building a personal brand, starting content, it can be uncomfortable. Maybe you don't have that Canon G7X, that DJI Osmo Pocket, and you feel oh my God, my content isn't going to look good because I don't have the high-tech equipment, and I live in an apartment with 3 other roommates. I don't have no big luxury loft or condo that I'm filming my content in. And for me, sometimes that can be a barrier, but you have to push past that because a lot of the times the people who are watching your content are just like you, going through the same things that you're going through. They also have roommates. They're also working maybe a retail job or babysitting or, doing whatever they're doing to pay the bills. So what you may think is not aesthetic might actually be aesthetic, and just trust that people are going to see themselves in your content.
I really hope that you guys learned a lot and felt inspired in this conversation. I know I have, and I learned a lot about Amaya and Taylor today, and I have a lot of wisdom that I'm leaving with, and this is great. This is such a great conversation. Thank you guys.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
So
Happy ninth semester.
Yes, I hope you guys have a great ninth semester. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure that you connect with all these ladies too. They have a wealth of knowledge that I can't wait for you all to learn from too. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I can't wait to watch it back myself, and I hope you have a great day.